Hello guys, my name is Ashadulomaya. I am a licensed engineer and a media consultant. In this video, I'll be explaining to us how to make use of a digital console using the Behringer X32 as a reference. So, let's dive in. Okay, let's start by looking at the overall layout of the Behringer X32. At first glance, the console might look complicated because there are many buttons, knobs, screens, and faders. But in reality, the mixer is divided into different sections and each section has a specific job. Once you understand how the sections are organized, navigating the console becomes much easier. Let's start from the center of the console, which is the main display screen. This screen is where you see the detailed information about the channel or function you're working on. Whenever you select a channel, you can just adjust the channel configuration, gate dynamics, equalization, routing, and sense. And right beside the screen we have some tabs here which allows you to access different processing sections of the selected channel. For example, you have the configuration tab and your gain tab, your gate tab, your compressor tab, and other tabs right there. So looking at the console from this patch here, we have the configuration up preamp. Or this part right here, this is where you search where your input is coming from, maybe from local in, maybe a USB or whatever places your channel input is coming from, just by clicking on the channel you selected and click on view, so it will show on your screen provided there. So you can set whatever you want to set. You can set your source, adjust your gain, your phantom power, your invert, your polarity, your link, and so on and so forth. And right under it we have the gate section, which you can set the gate of your input. We have the threshold and the dynamic section, which you can set the compressor of your input. And then we have the EQ section too, also where you can set your EQ, adjusting and all that. And you have your bus sense, where you can set your individual channel to a bus. So everything can be done by easily clicking on view. You click on view to set your configuration, your gates, your gain, your voltage button power, your polarity, and down below it you click on view to set your gates. Beside that, you click on it to view your compressor. Then you have your EQ and your bus sense. So just below the screen you will see several rotary knobs. This knob adjusts to adjust your parameters showing on your screen. For example, this is your EQ. You clicking on your low and sweeping across it like this, you can actually just come to your screen and use the frequency to adjust the frequency, the gain to boost up the gain, and the mode to set your mode, if it's spec, vec, low cut, high cut, or whatever type of frequency you're trying to do on the equalization part. And you can also use it to control whatsoever you want to control, maybe your dynamics. To set your dynamics, you set your ratio, your attack, your hold, your release, and your gain, and so on. That is how it's been done. So moving over to the channel strip, each channel has a select button. Pressing the button activates that channel, allowing you to edit its own display screen. So if you want to work on any channel or whatsoever, just click on select and automatically you can do whatever you want to do by your configuration, your gate, your dynamics, your EQ, and one channel. Click on the second channel to all this now working for each individual channel. So for example, people using analog console, you have your analog console. On every analog console we usually have this first knob there, which is the gain knob. So this is the gain knob right here for you on the digital console. You understand? And after that we have some analog does have 48 volt phantom power sometimes, so you have it right beside it right here. And after that you have your your maybe compressor. Sometimes some doesn't, so you have your compressor right here. No analog has this nice gate everything, but you have a compressor on it. So after that you go to your EQ section of your analog console. You have your high mid, low mid. So this is the section right here, your high mid, your low, and your low mid. Then after that you see your auxiliary, which is auxiliary 1, auxiliary 2, auxiliary 3, auxiliary 4. So these are your auxiliaries, which is bus on user console, bus 1 to 4, 5 to 8, 9 to 12, and 30 to 16. So after that, you see your what's it called, your pan knob below that. So this is your pan knob right here to pan either left or you're panning right, whatever way you're panning to. That is what each each section is all about, and it's what you can do on each channel. So you're looking at your analog console, your digital console is also the same thing. If you want to like set any of your input settings, maybe your gate, your compressor, your EQ, your configuration, just tap on the channel you are setting, just tap on it and do your adjustments on it. So then after the select button, we have the solo button. The solo button is for you to solo whatever is coming through your console, maybe individual channel or a bus or an output. You want to solo what's your vocal sounding like, you can click on solo and solo it, then click on it again to remove the solo. Then down below it you have your mute button, which you can either mute or unmute each channel you are using or you're not using at the same time. So, and under it you have your faders right here. These faders are used to control the levels of your inputs at individual outputs. Like you're controlling what you are sending to your main bus, to your auxiliary bus, to your effect bus, and all that. So to do that, just like you click on your channel, for example, this is my vocal channel. Click on your channel, then click on Send on Fader. So once you click on it, you can just from bus 1 to 8, I can adjust where my vocal range is at. So I can easily, on my vocal monitor, I have to pull it up. On my BGV monitors, you can pull it up or pull it down. Then once I'm done, I can just click on this send us fader. So I go back to my main left and right. So that is how the mixer configure the physical layout. And talking about the input and the output section, this section right here is your input section, while this section right here is your output section. So whatever you are processing here, you have to send it here to go to your outputs, your amps and your speakers and all that, your stage monitors, your in-ear mix, your live and other platforms. So to do that, just click on a specific channel, click on send on. Once you did this, you are sending a particular channel to a bus, you understand. But once you click on a bus and click on send on, whatever you send to this bus will automatically be in the bus. So if you don't click on this, it won't work for you. So clicking back on the send on fader, then you are going back to your main left and right. By default, without clicking on the send on fader, you are in your main left and right mix, which is your main FOH mix. But clicking on send on fader, so it means you are sending your channels to a bus. Your channel 1 to 16, your channels 1 to 32, your auxiliaries, your effects to an output. So that is that about that. And right here we're talking about the your group DCA. You have your group here, which you can use to group your vocals, your backups, your strings, your drums, your percussions, which I did right here. My group 1 is for my backups, my group 2 is for my strings, my group 3 I work for my drums, my group 4 I work for my percussion. We use this group sometimes, most of the time, not sometimes, most of the time, if you want to have a control of your overall mix at your FOH, maybe your overall backups, instead of you going to your backups and pulling down the channel individually, you can just go to a group and take audio BGV down at the FOH field. Though these groups are only working for your FOH field, not for your bus, only your front of house. So whatever you group there will automatically be working on the FOH. So for instance, if your DCA group is down, then the overall, even though you adjust your input volume to to the utility and to unity gain and all that, it shouldn't be coming out of your FOH because you're already grouped and you've taken down the group fader. So you have to put it up back for you to work at the FOH. So moving on, next we are moving down to the effects. By default, X32 give us 4 effects, insert and 4 effects return, which you can use the way you want. Like you click on your effect button right here, you go to home. So these are the effect returns or inserts, and these are inserts only. On this part, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, you can send your individual channel to a boss, to an effect, and this side here is just for you to insert a particular effect on a channel or a boss fader. So right here, I set my FX1, FX2, FX3, and FX4 individually for my effect, for my vocal, my strings, my drums, and all that. And this I insert some on channels and some on my outputs to have a control of it all. Then after that, we have the matrix section of the digital board. This matrix section just helps us a lot. Maybe you're the sound engineer, you have to control your delays. You have your FOH, then after your FOH you have your overhead, your delays, and all that. So for you to work on that, instead of you like having a boss, controlling your boss one after the other, just route your left and right to your matrix, which we will explain later on too at the same time. But today we're just discussing the physical layout of the board. So as we talked about before, we have the configuration, the gate, the dynamics, the equalizer, the bus, and all that. And you have the input section and the output section. And right here you have your screen, and you have some tabs here which you use to first tab here is for you to see your meters, your inputs coming in. You check the meters of whatever is coming in, and down below it you have your routing section where you can do your patching, your input patching, your output patching, and other adjustments. And right here you have your setup. When you want to set up your console, maybe you want to shut down, or you want to set your console, and the configuration, you can do your configuration in your console too. And tab it down to your name and icon, where you can see some icons color are green, some are red, some are blue, some are purple. So you can easily set each channel to give it a name and a color, just for you to like make your work more flexible and understand where each channel or where each thing is. So that's that. On your library right here is where you can save your preset, maybe your vocal preset. You can save it on your library, and you can also load it back. And tabbing on down to your effect, like I said before, you have your effect section where you can insert your effect or send your effect, which we will talk about later on. Then after that, we have our mute group. Like you can group a certain channel together to mute at the same time, maybe your vocals channel at the same time, maybe your strings channel at the same time, and other channel at the same time. So when you look at the Behringer X32, it may seem complex at first, but the console is actually designed in a section that controls specific parts of the mixing process. The screen and the navigation tab control processing. The select button, which makes your channel editing, and the knobs adjust perimeters. The faders control the level of the mix. Once you understand the layout and put it to the console, it becomes much easier. So reversing back to how we started, you have your screen right here to display whatever you are doing on each individual channel or on your console. And you have your input section, you have your output section, and you have your configuration, you have your dynamics, you have your equalization, you have your baud sense, and you have your your tab right here to control whatever you want to control on your console. So, and right here you have your monitor where you monitor whatever you are listening to. You understand? You have your talkback here. You can actually set your talkback, which we will discuss later on. So thank you, and stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.